President Trump says he created DOGE, the controversial Department of Government Efficiency headed by businessman Elon Musk, to bring accountability and transparency to federal spending and maximize government efficiency.
DOGE is claiming more than $600 million in savings just by canceling the leases for commercial office spaces used by federal agency. However, that number may not be all that it seems. NBC10 investigator Ryan Kath has been digging into the data. Ryan, what have you uncovered?
JC and Glenn, the NBC10 investigators looked over that data that the DOGE cost cutters put on their website. It lists nearly 24 properties in Massachusetts and New Hampshire where DOGE says lease contracts were terminated. We found the website has listed inaccurate information about exactly what is getting the axe.
Nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes.
Billionaire Elon Musk in the Oval Office when asked last month about errors made by the Department of Government Efficiency. The NBC10 investigators took a closer look at the so-called wall of receipts of leases canceled by DOGE. That list includes 23 government offices across Massachusetts and New Hampshire, with a claimed savings of nearly $6 million. Examples include this sprawling office for the Fish and Wildlife Service in Hadley, this unique-looking building in Uxbridge that houses the Department of Agriculture's veterinary services, and this tiny space for a small business administration in Lebanon. However, we found some claims of taxpayer savings are incorrect. For example, DOGE says it terminated leases at IRS offices in Worcester and Springfield, but has since reversed that decision.
We've been on DOGE.
Demetrius Panteliakis is with the Macmillan Group, the landlord for 3 IRS offices at this Springfield building. He told us the cancellation notice he received was rescinded on Wednesday because the General Services Administration, or the GSA, realized the large swath of the Commonwealth that the IRS office covers.
DOGE is just like everybody else in Boston. They forget that there's anything west of Worcester, and then they got to be reminded.
Former Massachusetts Congressman Mike Capuano sits on a board that makes recommendations to the GSA about unused federal property.
There are buildings around the country that are seriously underutilized, and some of those buildings require massive amounts of investment to bring them up to today's standards.
Capuano was surprised when the agency announced last week that hundreds of federally owned properties were up for sale, including the John F. Kennedy and Tip O'Neill office complexes in Boston and the Volpe Transportation Center in Cambridge. The next day, the GSA pulled the list from its website.
We're not going to suggest that a building gets sold or a lease gets terminated just because we don't like it. It'll be because it's inefficient and there are other ways to do it more efficiently.
Now, we reached out to the GSA, the agency that manages federal property, and they told us in part the GSA is reviewing all options to optimize our footprint and building utilization. To the extent these terminations affect public-facing facilities and or existing tenants, we are working with our agency partners to secure suitable alternative space. We've also reached out to the White House regarding the savings DOGE has claimed on their website and are still waiting on a response. In the studio, Ryan Kath, NBC10 Investigators.